Are you ready to raise the bar of health to access more love, peace, happiness, and joy? Then let's address the multidimensional aspects of our lives. It's time to wake up medicine. I'm Dr. Arlene Dijamco, and you're watching the Multidimensional MD. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Arlene Dijamco, the Multidimensional MD. Thank you for being here. Today I wanted to talk about bringing spirit back to medicine, because this is really one of my overarching missions in terms of bringing a multidimensional aspect back to healing and really back to the core of medicine. So today I wanted to go through 11 ways you could tend to your spirit. And these are things that I do. So I'm going to share examples of how I do it in my life and how I've incorporated it into my life so that you can see, how it can be easy, or if you're just getting started, how to actually get started. So if you're here, please like, subscribe, comment, let me know you're here, and share it. And if you haven't gone to the Instagram page, it's at All Worlds Health. And recently I did a post and it's on mushrooms, which is really neat. I'm going to show you a picture here, which is beautiful. I don't know if you hear there. My audio went off when I showed the picture. But this was such a beautiful example of what transient beauty is like. And the mushrooms came after it had stormed here. And so it reminded me of how we need blue skies and we need storms. And we can embrace both and really appreciate the transient beauty around. And for the mushrooms to kind of pop up, there were about 2,000 under our trampoline. It was incredible. And then I went on this nature walk, and there were about 24 different mushrooms we identified with this mushroom identification app. And they literally popped up overnight. And so I feel like we're kind of like that in 2020. It's like this mushroom age, because so much is going on, and the storms and just the chaos of what's going on, the uncertainty, but through that, something beautiful can emerge, and it can actually emerge pretty quickly. So to me, this is an age where we can really start to get to know our own spirit. We can really tend to our spirit because we have to. It is a must for healing. So one of the first ways that you can really kind of get in touch with your spirit, and one of the easiest ways to learn, is through your breath. So when I first learned how to do any kind of breath work, it was really quite simple. You don't have to count or anything. It was really just bringing your focus and your awareness very gently, like a soft focus gaze, to your breathing. And in this year, of course, breathing is such a big theme, right? With COVID, with Black Lives Matter, with masks, with the fires going on in California, with the climate, everything is about the breath. So I like to listen to the messages of what's going on in our world and in our lives, and really tend to what they're trying to tell us. So one is to tend to your breath. So just bringing your gentle focus to however you're breathing, and then you start to notice, like, how does the air go through your nose and through your throat to your chest? Is there any tension there? And you don't have to do anything. Just feel the air go in and out. And this is how we start our life when we're born. We inhale, and then when we transition out of this life, we exhale. But our spirit keeps going. So the breath is just this constant reminder of how intertwined this experience is. It's a physical experience, and we need the physical breath, and we can use the mind to affect that breath, and we can also get in touch with spirit through the breath. So it's just paying attention. If there's any tightness or any areas of tension, of restrictions in your breathing, it's like you just give those areas a little bit of a hug, just with your awareness. It's like, oh, hello, it's okay. And I'm just gonna take maybe 10 breaths to notice where I am. And there was this one exercise a friend of mine had recommended. It was a 10 breath exercise. And what she said was you take 2 breaths, noticing where did you just come from? Like whatever you were just doing, what were you doing? And then the next 2 breaths, where do you need to go to next? Or what next do you have to do? Nice and slow. And then on the 5th breath, you bring yourself here to the present moment, to the now. And you take the next 5 breaths to notice what is going on for you right now. And it's unhindered by the past and the future, because you've already embraced those and intended to them, acknowledged them, and then you can really be more fully present. She teaches this in her college classes, and it really helps her students to focus, to help them to calm, and to live with more presence. So the next one, number 2, to tend to your spirit, is prayer. So I kind of think of prayer as like a talking type of meditation. And you're talking to God, to the universe, however you would like to address it, to that divinity. And it's realizing that you always have help. You're always supported. So in times of need, it's like maybe you don't know what to do, but you can always ask for help. And sometimes this is the first step we need to take when we're really at a loss and it's difficult to quiet. It's just like, help me to, I like to make the intention of like helping for the greatest good. So for the good of all. And so don't forget, you're always supported. And whether you do that as like individually or as a group, it can be very powerful. And actually doing any kind of practice in a group can often just give it more potency, because you come together. It's like you're all beings of light, and you come together, and then it helps to grow that like more exponentially. So number 3, meditation in terms of the listening type. So I know we talked about breathing, and we talked about prayer, so that's a talking meditation, but it is also important to listen. So you could think about this as a listening type of prayer or a listening type of meditation. And this is when you allow yourself to be quiet. So whatever thoughts are kind of going through, it's not like you have to push them out, but it's to give space that you can also listen to guidance that might be coming through loved ones that have passed, through your angels or guides, through God, from the universe, whatever feels good to you. Listen. And sometimes people ask me, but how do I know it's coming from something that's good or loving? And I'm like, you will know, because in your heart, what you hear will always be loving, will always be supportive of you, will never be harmful for you or anyone else. And that's how you know, because you'll feel it right here. And so every day I actually start with this, and I listen for what I'm supposed to do for the day. What is my service for the day? And this morning, it was really just to bring my voice to the universe and to share. And so this is part of what I'm doing. And this is my day off from the office, from the appointments. And so, but it is a day also for me to recuperate and rest. And then I take a little bit of time to share as well. So don't underestimate how much information you can get. Sometimes you get a little hint because your ears start ringing, and people will tell me this. And I'm like, sometimes when your ears ring, it's like something wanting to come through. You just have to quiet yourself down enough to listen. It may come in as a thought or as an image or as a feeling, kind of knowing. So however it comes in for you. And then once you get the message, sometimes that little bit of ringing stops. So that happens to me often. I might, like, especially when it's quiet at night, and then I might hear a little ringing in my ears, and I know that something's coming through for me. But anyone can have access to that. So number 4, a lot on meditation, but this is a meditation of the visualization type. Okay, so you have 1, tuned into your breath. You have asked for help. You know you are supported. You have listened for guidance for what the next steps are. And now it's time for you to visualize, like, what do you want? And I don't want to say want. Want sometimes like makes you feel like you're missing something. But but what would you like? What would you like to create in your life? And so to take a moment to really see, feel, say what that is. And again, if you do this as a group, there's a journalist, Lynn McTaggart, and she's done so many experiments of group intention, group visualization, whether it's to like help purify water that had gotten polluted, or to help a plant grow. I mean, they just did simple experiments and then big experiments, but the simple ones were like, they had a group kind of visualize, pray, visualize, it starts to all sort of blend, right? But they had to visualize, make an intention for what they wanted for this plant. And then another plant, poor plant, didn't have that kind of visualization for it. So of course, the one that was really supported with that group intention grew and was so much healthier than the other. And the other thing she found in her experiments was actually visualizing and creating intention for others could be just as helpful, if not more, for your own health and well-being. So wishing well and visualizing well for loved ones, for the earth, for the community, can be very powerful and beneficial for your own health. So this is a win-win-win. So number 5 is mindfulness, or you could just call it awareness. And I added to that with a full embrace, because it can be easy to be mindful and aware, or easier when things are going great, right? You're having a good time, so you want to soak it up. But sometimes it can be, even when happy times, I do see that some people sometimes get a little bit anxious, so they want to cling to it. But we're just like allowing it to be. So embracing it, but without any sort of clinginess. And also when times are rough, not trying to like push it out. So this can be difficult, because it sometimes introduces this paradox of the human experience. Because when things are hard, I'll give a simple example. A few days ago, so our family is not perfect. We're a regular family. It was very loud in my house. There was a lot of whining from all ages. And I had just kind of had it, and I just needed a moment to take a break. But I also wanted to practice too of, I want to be aware of how I'm feeling right now, even though I don't like the way it feels. If you start practicing, it'll start to feel easier. Not easy, but easier, where it's like, can I allow myself to feel this discomfort of like, oh my gosh, I can't take any more yelling and whining in the house. I really need a break, and I'm super frustrated. Maybe I'm feeling like it's my fault, or as a parent, I'm not good enough or doing enough, because why else would my household be going berserk, right? It just happens. So all those things go through, but it's like, can I embrace that without clinging to it? Like knowing that, no, that's it, that's all I am. And without having to push it out, like, I don't accept this experience. So that's a very difficult paradox, It's like, in the grander scheme, it's like, oh, well, I know everything's okay. I know that we're doing pretty well. We don't have like the same needs as people that are really in trouble. So I should, you shouldn't have to be worried or feel frustrated or be anxious or stressed. But then on the other hand, it's like, oh, okay, but sometimes I do get stressed and sometimes I do get worried or anxious and things come up. So can both be true? Yes, absolutely. You're a multidimensional being. So this is that paradox of the human experience. And the more you can kind of embrace all of you, you will feel more whole. And from there, you can make that intention of moving always with your true north, which is love and light and gratitude. And then you take steps from there. So in that way, you're always moving, you're always standing on steady ground. Because if you were not to fully embrace the experience of where you are at this very moment, even if it's uncomfortable, you're not standing on steady ground. There's a wobble, and it creates a lot of tension inside of you. And I see this in people, and sometimes it can actually make you feel dizzy. It can give you headaches, it can give you indigestion, because it's a tug of war of like not accepting like different parts of yourself. You want to think this way, but you feel this way. And how can both be true? It can. And so just love all of you, accept all of you. Number 6, relationships. So of the self first, and this is where what we were just talking about, the awareness of you and having that full relationship, full embrace of yourself can be really helpful, because it's difficult to have those really deep relationships until you have a deep relationship with yourself, where you understand, you know, maybe what your strengths are and what your perceived weaknesses are. And I say perceived because those weaknesses are often strengths as well. And when you're able to do that, then you can also, you know, tend to your relationships and respond from a place of more love, of more peace, and less antagonizing. So it's more like feeling like more united. And you can actually hold a nest, just like for yourself, you can hold that loving nest of having a difficult conversation without feeling attacked or defensive, and you know, having a difficult conversation with somebody that you love, or even like if it can be someone you're close to, or even someone that you are not close to, but you know, having a love, that greater love for everyone. And going on, so number 7, tending to your spirit, is also being part of a greater whole in terms of the community. So I mentioned this before in another live stream, where if there are things that you feel for yourself that you have trouble with, often it's great to, you know, help someone else with the same things, because in doing so, you help both of you. So if someone feels lonely or you feel lonely, then it's like, help someone else that would feel lonely. And then all of a sudden, neither of you have to be lonely. It's so great how it works out. But don't forget, I mean, even though we're in this virtual, semi-virtual world, that we are all still part of this greater community, and the community needs you to be a part of it. Number 8 of tending to your spirit is nature. So this is nature of all types. This is like getting your feet on the bare ground, grounding, but it also can be like gardening, so getting your hands in the ground too. We are caretakers of many different types, but we are also caretakers of the earth. And so whether you're able to go on a forest walk, go forest bathing, which is so good for your overall health, your cardiovascular health, your immune system, all of the things that we are talking about here today are good, not just for your spiritual health, but your physical, your mental, emotional health. They have studies on all of these things. So nature, now if you can't get outside, or depending on where you live, there are also studies that looking at pictures of nature can really be, really help you to calm and be soothing. So just like that mushroom photo that I showed you before, which I think is magnificent. It's just this close-up of a mushroom. But when I look at it, it's just like, wow. And when you have that awe feeling, it's like your body starts to relax. So if you can do that anytime that you get a chance, look at a photo, have some slides to look through, go for a walk if you can, even better. Get outside. Going for a walk first thing in the morning is really nice, and because of how your cortisol levels work and getting that indirect sunlight, get your vitamin D levels. And in terms of nature, it's also animals. You know, we are caretakers. I know my kids kind of tease my husband because anytime he feels kind of stressed or frustrated, he calls our dog to come over and starts petting him. But I think that's so sweet. Like this, any animal pet that you are close to can have that kind of bond and help you in a way, in an instant where you just, need a pet and just feel that closeness. And it's like another relationship. But we also have to take care of the animals. And so that relationship is another win-win. So yes, play, number 10, is a great way to tend to your spirit. And play in all different types. And I wrote down movement here because moving is supposed to be an enjoyable part of the human experience. And I know that sometimes when we're down, we have like more aches and pains in the body. But actually, when your spirit lifts up, you get uplifted. It's like when you're down, everything becomes curled in and tense, like a wilted flower, or like a puppy or doggy with their head down and their tail tucked in. We kind of go into that fetal position of tension. And so when we're happy and feeling free, we uncurl and we just want to like expand. And so anything that you like to do, whether it's playing outside, playing with your pet, just have fun. And fun it's really personal. It's what you like to do. That expansion of the body. So just doing this, if you do this for a minute or two, that helps to give you more confidence. And can you see how like when that expands, it's like the rib cage opens up, the chest opens up, things soften. And if you do have like any physical aches or pains, I mean, to move however you can, like within what is comfortable and what you're allowed to do. But even just doing any kind of movement can be helpful. They tell that to patients like after surgery. I mean, within limitations, like say if you've had a C-section or abdominal surgery, they want you to move afterwards. They don't want you to pick up anything heavy, but we ask patients to move to kind of get their systems going, to get them flowing again. And that movement, your spirit it wants to really inhabit your body. This is a mind, body, spirit experience. And so you want to give it a good experience, right? So number 11, one of my favorites is art, because art to me is spirit in like physical, expressive human form. It is your true self, your true north, your authenticity coming out and bringing your being out into the world. It's your essence. This is your spirit essence. And no matter what you do, what you create, you can infuse it with your spirit. And it's when you do it like freely, without thinking about like what people will think of you, without being hindered by just like your own thoughts of like self-doubt. And art is so accessible to everybody. There is so much more I want to say about that. And I'm going to save it because there's something next week that I'll be doing and I really want you all to know about. But I wanted you to have these 11 different areas and ways to tap into your spirit. And also whether, if you are a healthcare practitioner or a counselor, these are all ways that you can incorporate into just the well-being of yourself, of course, but also for the people that you're helping. And if we are going to shift medicine, then we want to incorporate these simple things. I get this question all the time, like, how can we bring spirit to medicine? They feel it's too hard, but it's just, maybe physicians haven't been trained in it, or maybe they haven't done it for themselves in a way with more depth. I want to normalize the conversation so that we can talk about these things that are the priorities in our life. And in doing so, we can really raise the bar of health and what we can have access to. So I need your help in order to spread this message. So definitely like, share, let me know your thoughts, let me know your favorite ways to tend to your spirit. And I really believe that this is the way to help expand medicine and healthcare and what we're able to do in infinitely, really. So thank you so much for being here in this live stream. I'm Dr. Arlene Dijamco, the MultiDimensional MD. Lots of love to you. I'll see you all next time.